In 2020, a Netflix series called Into the Night was released, and a similar series came out in 2022 as well. Its name is Yakumo's S245. In these, our sun takes on a dangerous form. During its 11-year active cycle, the sun becomes dangerously active, and this releases a massive solar storm which wreaks havoc on Earth. During the daytime, that is, under sunlight, dangerous radiation rains down on Earth, causing people to start dying. The Sun, our only star with the first ray of the Sun as its companion. Radiation starts coming to the daytime side of the Earth. In fact, because of this very radiation, life is sustained on Earth and plants are able to make their food. The oceans get their energy from this as well, and for us humans too, the Sun's energy is life-giving. The Sun's energy reaches Earth as radiation. That means the Sun's radiation is essential for us, but only in a certain amount. And this amount is controlled by the Earth's atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere filters the radiation coming from the Sun, and it only allows as much radiation to reach the surface as we and the Earth need. But what if this radiation goes out of our control? Armaton charged solar material. What if all of a sudden it starts moving towards our Earth at thousands of miles per second? What if our Earth gets directly hit by a solar flare? Will this planet be able to save us? The answer to this is a bit complicated, but all scientists completely agree that Earth's magnetic field and atmosphere protect us from even the most powerful solar outbursts coming from the Sun. However, even then, these solar storms can destroy our radars, radio systems, and even the satellites orbiting in space. But it can't even touch us when it reaches the Earth's surface. And this is all because of our atmosphere. Believe me, we live on the luckiest planet in this universe. Earth, which has a thick atmosphere, which doesn't let all the dangerous radiations from solar flares reach us. According to Alex Young, Associate Director of the Heliophysics Science Division at National Aeronautics and Space Administration is Goddard Space Flight Center, in the last 10,000 years, no matter how big the solar events have been, it has never happened that our Earth's atmosphere hasn't protected us. The Earth's magnetic field protects us from the destruction caused by solar radiation. But the electromagnetic power of these flares is so strong that they can disrupt power grids, internet connections, and other communication devices. That's why the Sun and its activities are monitored very closely. So what exactly are these solar flares? Solar flares are formed when the Sun's magnetic field lines collide with each other or get twisted. This creates an enormous storm the size of a planet, which is released from the Sun's surface in the form of electromagnetic energy. We can see these storms as cool and dark patches on the Sun, which we also call sunspots. There is a large spread of magnetic field lines around these sunspots. Here they remain tangled with each other, sometimes they get twisted, and sometimes they collide with each other. This releases a powerful flash of energy, and along with that, a lot of material, that is charged particles, are also released from the Sun. These are what we call solar flares. Most of the energy from solar flares is released in the form of ultraviolet and X-ray light. Because of this, the gases present in the Sun's atmosphere also get heated up to very high temperatures, and that's why the Sun's atmosphere. If a sunspot blasts a coronal mass ejection toward our Earth, that massive storm can reach our planet at a speed of thousands of miles per second, arriving in 15 hours or sometimes in a few days. Now, whether you have heard about coronal mass ejection before or not, it doesn't matter. Because the sun keeps emitting these CMEs somewhere every week or even every day. That means for the sun, this is a normal process. However, during the 11-year activity cycle, the number of CMEs also increases along with the sun's activity. According to National Aeronautics and Space Administration, most of the CMEs go unnoticed by people. They just pass by this planet because our Earth's magnetic field protects us, but very large and energetic CMEs actually compress our planet's magnetic field. Because of this, we experience geomagnetic storms on Earth. What happens is that the electromagnetic energy coming from the sun fills up our magnetosphere. The atoms and molecules present in our Earth's atmosphere become electrically charged. Because of this, something happens that we can see all over the world. Because of such storms, we get to see the aurora borealis near the north pole of the Earth. But because of a very big storm, they will start appearing at the equator as well. If such a big solar storm hits our Earth, the entire world's radio and radar systems will be completely blacked out. Electrical grids will get overloaded due to the power surge, which means we could also see blackouts in the power grids. Even if that doesn't happen, long power cuts will become a common thing. Some experts are even afraid that a major coronal mass ejection storm could cause an internet collapse on Earth. Laid under the sea, our internet cables can also get overloaded, and if that happens, our world will come to a complete halt without the internet. Although this has never happened before, the possibility cannot be ruled out. And if that happens, the internet could disappear from the whole world for weeks or even months. Our space stations and satellites can't withstand coronal mass ejection radiation because they don't have the protection of Earth's atmosphere and are completely exposed to the harsh environment of space. Recorded in Earth's history, the most powerful geomagnetic storm ever recorded was in 1869, known as the Carrington event. However, this was the most powerful geomagnetic storm. There was no significant impact on the life flourishing on Earth or on human health. Even if a bigger storm than this ever occurred in Earth's history, so far we haven't found any evidence that it affected human life. One thing is clear, no matter how strong a solar storm gets, life on Earth will go on as usual. We don't know how big a solar flare would have to be to have the power to wipe out life on Earth. But this has never happened in history. Or it could also be that no solar flare from the sun can actually wipe out life on Earth. But there is another enemy that can wipe out life from Earth in the blink of an eye, and this has actually happened once in history. And that danger is the stars present around us. When a star uses up all its fuel and reaches the end of its life, it explodes as a massive supernova. As a result, a huge and powerful radiation spreads across space for millions of light years. These blasts are much more powerful than any solar flare. The ultraviolet radiation emitted from these will destroy the ozone layer of our Earth. Once the protective ozone layer is gone, Earth will be filled with charged particles and radiation, making survival nearly impossible for any life. In a recent study, researchers claimed that during the late Devonian period of the Earth, around 416 million to 358 million years ago, a star located about 64 light years away from Earth died millions of years ago. That star exploded in a supernova. Because of this, a mass extinction occurred here on Earth, which wiped out about 70% of the invertebrates living on the planet. However, scientists are not certain about how exactly this mass extinction was triggered. What were the factors that started this mass extinction? However, from the time of that mass extinction, studies of the skeletons revealed that their fossils were damaged due to ultraviolet radiation, which could only happen because of an exploding star or a supernova. But fortunately, there is no such supernova candidate near our Earth that could pose a threat to us in the near future. Only our small star, the Sun, is there, which cannot become a supernova for now. And as for the solar storms that come from it, our Earth's atmosphere is enough to protect us from them. Just imagine a celestial body that is very large, very powerful, which even from a distance of 93 million miles is controlling life on a planet in every way. And now imagine that the body responsible for life on a planet is also hiding a very deep secret. Secrets that even scientists are not able to fully explain. Yes, we are talking about our sun. We think we know the sun, but do we really know it? What if I tell you that there are some forces brewing inside the sun that could wipe out the entire human civilization in the blink of an eye? That familiar warmth we feel every day, we haven't even realized or understood the destruction it could cause. From the strange sunspots visible on its surface to the dangerous solar storms, the sun is not just a life-giving deity as we think. It is also a ticking time bomb that can explode at any moment with unimaginable force. So in this video, today we will explore the dark side of our sun, which is unpredictable, violent, and extremely mysterious. After this, your perspective on the sun will change. From ancient civilization that considered the sun a deity to today's modern science which now sees it as the engine of life, although we know that the sun is a huge ball of gas and plasma, but if we look at it on a broad scale, life really isn't possible without the sun. And humanity has known from the very beginning that the sun is essential for us, but that same sun is also one of the most dangerous forces in our solar system. Apart from its warmth and familiar light, it is an uncontrollable cosmic nuclear furnace that is constantly leading us toward a major event. We take the sun for granted, which in this endless universe is lighting up the planets like a giant lamp. It keeps them warm and also sustains life on those planets. If we go deep into the sun, the gravity there is so strong that even hydrogen atoms collide and fuse together. Through this process of nuclear fusion, the entire sun is able to release an immense amount of heat, and that's how the temperature of the sun's surface reaches up to 5,500 degrees Celsius. But the real terror is hidden in its core, where the temperature goes up to 15,000 degrees Celsius. 15,000 degrees Celsius. This is beyond our imagination. This immense energy of the sun not only gives us light, but it also causes storms on the sun. There is also a massive ejection of magnetic fields and charged particles there. Even though solar flares and solar mass ejections may not seem very dangerous to us, but they are powerful enough to destroy our modern technology in an instant. A single solar storm can push us into a global blackout. To be honest, we are literally living at the mercy of a star which can change its course at any time. And the scariest thing is that it neither recognizes us nor is it compassionate. So let's take a look at a dangerous example of the sun's power, a solar storm. In 1869, a massive solar storm was released from the sun, which we now know as the Carrington event. This solar storm was so intense that the telegraph system of that time broke down. Equipment caught fire and operators working on those systems and equipment received strong electric shocks. If such a storm hits the earth today, destruction is certain. Our modern world is highly dependent on technology. The result will be that the internet, global positioning system, power grids, and satellites will be fried within moments. These are the main resources where its impact will be most visible. Apart from this, people traveling by sea and air will get stranded in the middle of their journey. There are also some devices in our body that can conduct electricity, so in such a situation, the risk to human life and property will increase significantly. A large amount of magnetic energy is released from Suraj's atmosphere, and this explosion is called a solar storm. These solar storms can release highly charged particles into space in any direction. And when they come towards the Earth, they move towards the Earth at a speed of millions of miles per hour. When this storm hits the Earth, it interacts with its magnetic field. Because of this, we see beautiful auroras in the sky. But behind this beauty are these terrifying solar storms which can destroy everything in an instant. The scariest thing about them is that we can't see them coming. Solar storms erupt without any warning. One moment the sun is completely calm, and the next moment it can release this invisible dangerous radiation toward us. The Carrington event was a warning for us, but we've come a long way by learning from it. For decades, space agencies and scientists have been constantly monitoring the sun for such solar storms so that we can protect ourselves in time. The question isn't whether the next solar storm will hit us, but rather when. This uncertainty always keeps us afraid. The sun has another dark side, sunspots. When we look up at the sky and see the sun, we see its dazzling, blinding brightness. But it doesn't always shine like this. Sometimes dark spots also appear on its surface, which are called sunspots. These are cooler regions on the surface of the sun where the sun's magnetic fields are twisted and tangled together. We have been observing sunspots for centuries, but the reason for their formation has always remained a mystery. But what we do know is that wherever sunspots appear, destruction follows. Sunspots are linked to the activity of our sun, and sunspots are also the root cause of many intense solar storms. These dark spots indicate some terrifying processes happening inside the sun, which we still haven't been able to understand. But why do they form, and why do these sunspots trigger solar flares and coronal mass ejections? These questions also force scientists to think. What we do know about them is that sunspot activity increases and decreases in cycles. When the sun is most active, more sunspots are also observed. And the more sunspots there are, the higher the chances of solar flares become. That's why, during the sun's 11-year activity cycle, we see more solar flares and increased solar activity. Next time you see a picture of a sunspot, remember that these are not just spots on a shining star. This is the sun's dark side, which is the most dangerous. And we must also remember that we live peacefully under the shelter of a star that is not peaceful at all. But sunspots are not the only danger coming from the sun. The sun has another dark side, solar flares. Solar flares are the sun's way of releasing stored up energy. And when these flares erupt, the energy they release is greater than the energy of millions of atomic bombs. These flares release radiation and charged particles in every direction from the sun, and sometimes they come directly toward our Earth. When a powerful solar flare hits our Earth, the effects caused by this can bring our entire world to a halt. A global blackout, disappearance of global positioning system signals, malfunctioning of satellites, failure of power grids, and the entire internet economy ecosystem could all come to a standstill just from the impact of a single flare. The banking system, aviation, industry, and all other sectors that rely on the internet will suddenly come to a halt. This reminds us that the same sun that keeps our Earth running can also force our Earth, our world, to come to a standstill. But solar flares are not the only mystery of our sun. As we are becoming more advanced, our understanding of the sun is increasing even more. But there is still so much about the sun that we haven't been able to understand. For instance, the sun's corona. The biggest mystery about its outermost layer, the corona, is that its temperature is much higher than the surface of the sun. How is this possible? The surface of the sun, which is as hot as 5,500 degrees Celsius. How can the temperature of the corona, which is hundreds of kilometers away from it, be millions of degrees Celsius? Another mystery is what force is driving the solar cycles. Every 11 years, Suraj's magnetic poles flip, which increases solar activity. But scientists have not been able to find out the driving force behind this. It shows a glimpse of what Pari is. And this tells us how much we have understood this infinite universe and where we actually stand. The sun is our closest star, but this universe is infinite. And such mysteries make this universe the supreme leader, because everything in this universe follows the rules set by the universe itself. And maybe it's better if some mysteries always remain hidden. If someone named Sabita learns every secret of the universe, she will become the supreme leader and will want to run the rules of the universe according to her own will. And maybe none of us would want that in the depths of the universe where stars shine for eternity. In this mysterious darkness, there is one star that has astonished scientists. Its name is Kepler Input Catalog 8462852, but the world knows it as Tabby's star. This star, shining in the Cygnus constellation 1,470 light-years away from our Earth, has remained in the spotlight because of its strange and unusual behavior. Everyone was astonished to see it. After all, how can a star dim by up to 22% and then suddenly start shining again? All this happened so irregularly that scientists had no solid answer for it. But the most mysterious thing about it was the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. For some reason, it began focusing on this star. Does V know something about this star that she's hiding from all of us? Today, I'm going to tell you the strangest story of search for extraterrestrial intelligence so far. A story that will take you into the world of stars, and then you'll have the same question in your mind: are we really alone in this universe? The story of Tabby's star began in 2015 when National Aeronautics and Space Administration's Kepler Space Telescope detected the extremely strange behavior of this star. Citizen scientists from the Planet Hunters project saw something in this star's light curve that was nothing like any ordinary star. It was as if something huge was passing in front of it. But what exactly was that thing? It was something that made scientists stop and think. Was it just dust? Or was it something that could possibly be alien? Tabby's star, also called Boyajian's star or Where's the Flux star, meaning where's the flux. This is an F-type main sequence star. It's a bit bigger and hotter than our sun. Unusual dimming is happening 1,470 light-years away in Cygnus. Some of the dips were so large that they couldn't be caused by any planet. Even giant planets like Jupiter only dim the sun's brightness by about 1% when they pass in front of it. Only a massive planet could cause such a dip. So then what exactly is present around Tabby's star that is dimming its light so much? It had become like a mystery at that time, but scientists explored several possibilities for it. Maybe it was a swarm of comets passing in front of that star. Or maybe it could have been some interstellar dust that was coming between the Earth and the star. Or maybe it was the star's own internal fluctuation, but no theory was fitting this completely. And then a suggestion came forward that grabbed the attention of the whole world. Could this be some kind of alien megastructure? A Dyson swarm, a massive structure built by an advanced civilization to harness the energy of its star. This theory made Tabby's star famous overnight. But then search for extraterrestrial intelligence's reaction deepened the mystery even further. When the news about Tabby's star spread throughout the entire scientific community, search for extraterrestrial intelligence immediately pointed their Allen telescope array at this star. They were searching for radio signals that might be coming from an intelligent civilization, but they didn't find anything. Still, search for extraterrestrial intelligence kept their eyes on this star. In 2016, when the star's light started dimming again, search for extraterrestrial intelligence, the scientists started investigating it more deeply. Tabitha Boyajian started a Kickstarter campaign which raised more than $100,000. So that less can be observed. If this is just a normal star, then why is so much attention being given to it? Did search for extraterrestrial intelligence have some suspicion that they weren't telling the world about? Some people said that maybe search for extraterrestrial intelligence had received a signal that they didn't want to make public. What if this really was some kind of alien megastructure? This discovery could have changed our understanding of the universe forever. But search for extraterrestrial intelligence as silence kept deepening this mystery. The biggest puzzle of Tabby's star was the irregular dips in its brightness. These dips were neither regular nor did they have any fixed pattern. Sometimes it would dim up to 22% and sometimes it would only go down to 0.3%. Sometimes it would stay dim for several days and sometimes it would suddenly start shining. In 2017, astronomers observed that these dips were also different at different wavelengths, more ultraviolet, less infrared. This meant that whatever was blocking the star's light was not opaque, like a planet or a megastructure. Instead, it was more like some kind of dust. Scientists were now reaching a conclusion, but where was this dust actually coming from? Some scientists believe that this could possibly be circumstellar dust, which revolves around the star. But there were several problems with this theory as well. There is high radiation pressure around the star. It's so intense that it would quickly blow away any such dust. So where is such a large amount of dust constantly coming from? And how is this dust able to sustain itself? Why is it so irregular? If this was interstellar dust, then why didn't we see any infrared emissions, which we often see when we observe dust? Other scientists suggested this might be a cluster of comets. But if this was dust coming from comets that we saw, then how could such a large cluster of comets have formed? Or maybe it was a brown dwarf with a large ring system passing in front of this star. But even here, no theory was fitting. And although the idea of an alien megastructure was unlikely, it was still stuck in people's minds. When no theory could fully explain Tabby's star's dimming, one idea grabbed the world's attention. Could this be an alien megastructure? In 1960, physicist Freeman Dyson proposed a theory that an advanced civilization could build massive structures to collect the energy of its star, like a huge swarm of solar panels, which is called a Dyson swarm. Was the dimming of Tabby's star caused by some similar kind of structure? This idea was so exciting that search for extraterrestrial intelligence took it seriously. Astronomer Jason Wright suggested in 2015 that the dimming of Tabby's star could be due to a partially constructed Dyson swarm. Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence intensified its radio and optical observations. Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence also searched for those narrow-band radio signals, which could indicate the presence of an intelligent civilization here. But no signal was found. Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence is focused on Tabby's star was a mystery in itself. Usually, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence investigates any star, and if they don't find anything, they move on. But that didn't happen with Tabby's star. In 2017 and 2018, when the dimming of the star was observed again, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence kept its eyes on it. People said that maybe Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence had received some signal, but it was so strange that it was difficult to understand. Maybe that signal was so complex that our technology couldn't decode it. Or maybe Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence saw something so disturbing that they wanted to be absolutely sure before bringing it to the world. We're not saying this is some kind of conspiracy, but when so much attention is given to a star and still no clear answers are found, questions naturally arise. Is there really something out there that might be beyond our understanding? The story of Tabby's star brought us to a point where science and mystery come together. Everything that has happened so far has kept the mystery of this star alive forever. But now, this mystery was about to be unveiled. As scientists gathered more data, the picture of the star in this mystery started to become completely clear before us. In 2018 and 2019, Tabitha Boyajian and her team analyzed the data from the Las Cumbres Observatory. They found that the dimming was different at different wavelengths, and this was pointing towards circumstellar dust. By 2020, scientists had further strengthened this theory. They suggested this dust likely formed from an asteroid or comet collision. Maybe a huge asteroid broke up into fine fragments, which is now orbiting around the star. Or maybe an exomoon broke apart and started orbiting this star. The lack of infrared emissions also supported this theory because the amount of dust was so low that it wasn't emitting much infrared radiation. All these discoveries were pointing toward one thing. Tabby star's dimming was caused by natural dust, not an alien megastructure. Some people believe that the dimming of Tabby's star was so unique that it was a perfect test case for search for extraterrestrial intelligence. If an alien civilization existed there, it would have been the best chance to discover them. But some people still question whether search for extraterrestrial intelligence actually found something there that they don't want to make public. Otherwise, search for extraterrestrial intelligence had never shown so much interest in any other signal. We're not saying that search for extraterrestrial intelligence is hiding something, but its silence and repeated investigations raise questions. If it was just dust, then why was so much time and resources spent on it? But these remain just questions. The story of Tabby's star is not just about the dimming of a star. It is just like us looking at the stars. But the truth is that the mystery of Tabby's star has mostly been solved now. Asteroid dust or exomoons naturally explain its dimming. The alien megastructure idea is really, every time we look at a star, we search for a new possibility. And every time we don't find answers, we search for them with even more determination. On an ordinary day in July 2025, the Gemini North Telescope, built on Hawaii's Mauna Kea volcano, is gazing at the sky. Suddenly, a faint blue glow appears on the computer screen. The scientists were astonished to see this. They had found something that could perhaps be the key to solving a centuries-old mystery. There were many speculations about Betelgeuse that this giant star could soon end in a supernova explosion. A recent drop in its brightness was observed. And we kept waiting and waiting, but on this date, nothing happened as we had expected. This star remained a mystery. But the recent discovery is that the brightness actually belongs to Betelgeuse's companion star. That is, a companion star which scientists had almost given up hope of finding. This is a discovery that not only uncovers the mysteries of Betelgeuse, but also changes the story of those stars in the universe, which we have created by looking at the stars in the sky. So let's embark on a mysterious journey of the Betelgeuse star today. Betelgeuse, shining in the Orion constellation, is the 10th brightest star in our night sky. It is a red supergiant. Its size is so massive that if it were placed in place of our Sun, it would engulf the orbits of Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Its diameter is about 760 times larger than our Sun, and it is 87,000 times brighter than the Sun. Just imagine how much more radiation we would have to endure if it were in our solar system. But its uniqueness is not just its size and brightness. Betelgeuse is a variable star, which means its brightness keeps changing over time. These changes have remained a mystery for our scientists and astronomers for centuries. But then, in 2019, Betelgeuse did something that drew the attention of the whole world towards it. Its brightness suddenly decreased by 30%. This was called the Great Dimming Event. In the beginning, scientists thought that maybe Betelgeuse was at the last stage of its life, and soon it will explode as a supernova. A supernova is so bright that it can shine in our sky at night for months, as bright as a half moon. We waited, and maybe for the first time we were about to witness a star dying. But nothing happened in 2019 nor in 2020, and not even in 2021. Gradually, scientists shifted their focus from the theory of it becoming a supernova to studying it more deeply. So they found out that this dimming was probably caused by a large cloud of dust, and maybe this cloud originated from the surface of Betelgeuse itself. This cloud of dust blocked the light of the star for some time. National Aeronautics and Space Administration's images showed that this was a kind of stellar burp. That means the star expelled a large amount of gas and dust, which later cooled down and formed a cloud that blocked the light. But this discovery was only answering one question. The Great Dimming of 2019 affected Betelgeuse's brightness. There was also a separate 6-year major cycle, which was still a mystery for scientists. This cycle couldn't be explained by the star's internal pulsations. So what was the reason behind this mystery after all? At that time, we didn't have any solid evidence for this. But in July 2025, scientists made a discovery that has almost solved the mystery of Betelgeuse. With the help of a special instrument called Allopaike installed on the Gemini North telescope, scientists observed a very dim or faintly shining companion star of Betelgeuse, which was named Sivara. If we understand the meaning of the name Betelgeuse, in Arabic it means the arm of Al-Jawza or shoulder of the giant. So the name of this newly discovered companion is Sivara, which means her bracelet or bangle. This name is absolutely perfect for this star because it is orbiting around Betelgeuse like a bracelet. Sivara is 6 magnitudes less bright than Betelgeuse, which means it is millions of times dimmer than Betelgeuse. Scientists estimate that its mass is about 1.5 to 16 times that of our Sun. This is a pre-main sequence star, which means it hasn't started hydrogen fusion yet. You could also call it a stellar baby, which is still in the early stages of the process of becoming a full-fledged star. When it starts hydrogen fusion, it will become an F-type star, which will be brighter and heavier than the Sun. The most surprising thing about Sivara is its strange orbit. It orbits only 4 astronomical units from Betelgeuse. This distance is 4 times greater than between Earth and the Sun, but still less than Jupiter's. We have already talked about the size of Betelgeuse. If it were in our solar system, it would extend up to Mars. So you can imagine how far its massive outer atmosphere would extend. In fact, its companion Sivara is actually orbiting inside Betelgeuse's atmosphere. This is such a strange thing that scientists had never seen before. Every 6 years, Sivara passes close to Betelgeuse and it completely disturbs the star's outer atmosphere. It creates turmoil there, causing gas and dust to be ejected, which sometimes blocks the light. And this was the reason for the Great Dimming event of 2019. Because of Sivara's orbit, a 6-year cycle is observed in Betelgeuse's brightness. This discovery not only explains Betelgeuse's behavior, but also shows how such red supergiant stars behave with their companion stars. It wasn't easy to find Sivara. Betelgeuse is so bright that seeing any dim star near it is next to impossible. Just imagine, this star is 87,000 times brighter than our Sun. Even powerful telescopes like the Hubble Space Telescope and Chandra X-ray Observatory couldn't see Betelgeuse's companion star. But National Aeronautics and Space Administration's senior research scientist Steve Howell and his team used a new technique. As it's called speckle imaging, in speckle imaging the telescope takes pictures for a very short time, that is, just a few milliseconds, so that the disturbances caused by Earth's atmosphere can be bypassed. Using Gemini North's 8.1-meter mirror and the Allopaike instrument, scientists captured thousands of images and combined them with a special algorithm. This allowed the intense brightness of Betelgeuse to be removed, making it possible to see the faint glow of Sivara. This picture was taken on December 9, 2024. Exactly at the time when previous studies had predicted that Sivara could be found at its farthest point. Although the confidence level of this discovery is currently 1.5 sigma, scientists usually require 5 sigma for a discovery to be considered fully confirmed. Although the location and timing of Sivara matches the predictions of previous studies, scientists are considering it almost confirmed. Currently, Betelgeuse is a red supergiant star and there is no doubt that it is in the final stage of its life. It's only 10 million. years old, but its massive size forces it to burn through its nuclear fuel much faster. Siwara is so close that Betelgeuse's gravitational pull is slowly drawing it in. In the next 10,000 years, Siwara is expected to be absorbed by Betelgeuse, or if Betelgeuse becomes a supernova before that, it will be completely destroyed.